I mean, you had your chance and then you blew it.
That is the most absurd statement of the year.
Nice. Nice.
Oh, baby.
I'm in my zone, I'm feeling it.
Live from Rock Solid Studios in Granite Falls, it's time for MinneZona Sports, live with DJ Matty C. and Paul the Shield Vold.
And this is MinneZona Sports Live. We are back. Yes, claps, applause all around. Episode 87, not 97 like Kaprizov has right here. But we'll go with 87 because we're getting closer and closer to episode 100. But without further ado, I am your host, DJ Matty C, a.k.a. Matt Callahan, a.k.a. Callie, a.k.a. Matty C, etc. And all the way from Woods and Shores Studios in Aiken, Minnesota, Paul Volda. Shield, what's going on, Shield?
You know, if I would have known any better, I probably would have saved wearing the Gronk jersey for this week because it would have been very fitting with it being, you know, obviously episode 87, and here we are. And, well, I dropped the ball on that one. But you know what? I may be trying to make up for it here this evening.
Well, that's a perfect segue because you can make up for it. You can make up for it. And Gronk, I think, will have you make up for it at some point. Voldy, there was some breaking, was it 2 weeks ago or a week ago? Or I can't remember. But MinneZona, the hats are in, people. The MinneZona hats are here. We are stoked to bring it to you guys. Claps all around. They're here. They're ready. Voldy, present. Yes, look at that. Look at that bad boy right there. Out. You got the red on the brim there. You got you got black, red, white. It's fantastic. And then show them the adjust. Yeah, there we go. The adjustable
trucker style, baby.
Trucker style. We like it. You can adjust it and everything like that. It looks fantastic. So, $20, $5 shipping, all that fun stuff. We'll get it to you and whatnot. But it looks pretty dope. And, hey, guess who's tuning in tonight? Our guy, Mikey Ryan. I need one of those hats now. Yeah,
we're working on it, Mikey. We'll get you set up.
The thing is I got names. I do have names written down, so I do know who wants one, who doesn't, or who wants one. I mean, who doesn't want one? That's my question. Right. Take my CC now, credit card. I assume. Yeah. Well, I don't know about that, EZA, but. You know, I don't want to steal your credit. Well, actually, I might just because. Anyway, you know, it is what it is. So, anyway, without further ado, we promised that it was a prize week for MinneZona Pick'em. It was a prize week, and let's take a look at who won. I don't know if people knew about this, but one of our Zona favorites won. Nick Dahlhoff, starting off with him, he got 8. Sarah and Twos Vold with another start with 8 as well. Claps all around to our creative consultants. Yes, claps all around. And also, Larry Frank, 8 as well. So now we're sitting with 3 winners this week, I should say. 3 winners.
That's right.
So, it's a dealer's choice, and obviously Nick has asked for his. He'll get his. And I believe our creative consultant has a number of options to choose from. Yeah. And then Larry will get his as well. So
yeah, we'll get Frank situated with that, so that won't be too much of a problem there.
It's good, clean fun, as you like to say, Voldy.
Exactly.
It's fun. So anyway, with all that aside, tonight, Tater hot take, we're talking purple because it's the border battle on Sunday. And the Wild, they're off on a hot streak, but they cooled off yesterday. We'll talk about that. And then the top 10 infamous lists, baby. We're back with that. There's some names that are new new on this list from myself and Voldy. And then, of course, ARA, Shields, Shoutouts, the whole shebang. So it's going to be a dope show today. So, like it isn't. I mean, it's always dope. So it's always fun. We always have a good time. So anyway, Voldy, I say we get it going with some tater tot hot take.
Fresh out of the oven, it's Tater Tot Hot Take.
All right, Voldy, we start off Tater Tot Hot Take on the right note, and I think Case is screaming for joy because the Minnesota Vikings win. Finally, a close game, 27-20, claps all around. Yes, we got to give props where props are due. This was a huge win. I think you and I can both agree. The Zoners can agree as well. There were a lot of things that we liked. There was aggressiveness. Justin Jefferson was heavily involved. Dalvin was able to. He had 94 yards, but very close to 100. Voldy, why don't you give me your overall thoughts of the game? Zoners, please chime in the comments. Let us know your thoughts of the big win in L.A. for one. I mean, the lights, the camera, the action was great. Voldy, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it was just great to see, obviously, talking about the aggressiveness early on and staying aggressive throughout the game, too. That was one thing that has certainly gone away from basically from the first series of the game for the Vikings as soon as they get up or at least come out aggressive early. That seems to kind of go away, but staying aggressive, getting Justin Jefferson involved and remembering that they still have Adam Thielen in the mix too. He came up with some big catches down the stretch, and then, just having Dalvin Cook there and knowing that, obviously they didn't rely on him being the guy, but, having him being able to 94 yards, and, on the ground as well is a nice little piece to add on top of it. But, throwing that all together, I was really happy with the offensive side. The defensive side too, taking advantage of the turnovers. That was one thing that obviously last week with the game against Baltimore, that was a real depressing side to not take advantage of those turnovers, especially in key situations. But now that they had the ability to get those turnovers, turn them into points, and obviously stick to that lead in that game was a really great sign to see. So overall, I think this was probably the most complete performance. I would probably say since the Arizona game, minus the kick at the end there, that that these teams that the Vikings were able to play in this game for a win.
Agree with you 100%. There were. What we talk about the good right now, but Easy A, I think, brings up a good point. The penalties need to stop. So bad. Aliudo needs to stop holding guys. That was it was a potential drive killer with Aliudo. And we had to fight to get a lot of those yards back. I think it was like either a second and It was either a 3rd and 20 or a 2nd and 20, whatever it was. Thielen got tackled at like the 40-yard line or something. They needed 2 yards to go. Dalvin gets the first down, much-needed first down.
I think it was 3rd down because I think they went for it. I think they went for it on 4th and 1 or something like that, or it was definitely around that area. Yeah, it was definitely 3rd down on that 3rd and 20. They got 18 or something like that, and all right, 4th and 2, here we go.
Right. It's 4th and 2, the aggressiveness. I tweeted it, and also there were some zoners that chimed in on that as well, that tweet, Joe Clements, our guy Joe Clements. The aggressiveness, I begged, I pleaded, Zim, Kubiak, let's get aggressive here. And they did. They were absolutely aggressive. They went right after the Chargers, what they should do, and they gave the ball to our guy Justin Jefferson. He needs to be targeted at least over 10 times, or 12. The more, the better, right? But we also got to remember too that teams will start to key in on him too. So who does that leave open? Adam Thielen, KJ Osborne, Dalvin Cook, Gronklin, 2 touchdowns. 2 touchdowns for Gronklin. We love it there. And defensively, Eric Kendricks, the best linebacker in the NFL right now. I'm calling it right now because he has been fantastic. He's fantastic in coverage. He makes tackles when he needs to. The guy's a playmaker. Oh, by the way, Anthony Barr wasn't in that game either. So
Yeah.
that was key. That interception was sick on Herbert. So as they said, when JJ gets 10 targets a game, we win. Thank you, Easy A. Perfect. Case is loving it, too. That's what we want to hear from Case. But just to kind of put things into perspective here, yeah, there's some defensively when you're down Patrick Peterson, Michael Pierce, Anthony Barr, and whatnot, it doesn't help when you don't have those guys out there. But now, or Harrison Smith as well. Harrison Smith's coming back. Patrick Peterson's coming back. We'll see what's Barr's status here for Sunday. And again, you got to factor in COVID too, depending on how things go. I believe DJ Wanham tested positive for COVID, but he's vaccinated. He still has a chance to play on Sunday, so we'll see what happens there. But big win. Now you have to head on over to, or not, you go back to U.S. Bank Stadium. You take on Green Bay. Okay. Rodgers coming off his little COVID. It's more on that for Infamous list, by the way. He comes off the COVID list. Packers win 17-0. They lose Aaron Jones. Dillon, I think, is going to be a big factor in the run game for him. Voldy, I feel good knowing that we won against L.A., but Green Bay is one of the top teams in the NFC, so the good thing is we're at home. It's looking good from that perspective, but we got to be ready no matter what. And this is a game they need, especially a division game. I mean, you got to rack up as many division wins as you can. So, Voldy, what are you expecting from the Purple here on Sunday?
Yeah, I think it's also a really nice added boost that coming off the COVID list, Harrison Smith, and then you also get off the IR, Patrick Peterson. That's going to really shore up on the defensive back side because, the Packers do have a lot of guys out there that can certainly stretch the field a little bit. When it comes to, maybe Alan Lazard, you've got the likes of Devontae Adams, thrown in there too with their tight ends. They got a couple tight ends that are worth noting. Even Randall Cobb, who's still finding a way to stay in the league and stay relevant now that he's got his boy back in the fold too. If you find a way to slow down at least two of those guys and force them to play it a little bit more underneath, I think the Vikings got a really good shot. And getting fully healthy once again with Smith and with Peterson coming back too is going to be a big difference. That's going to help. You got to be able to pressure on Rodgers too is the thing. And, if they can get to the quarterback and at least maybe move him around a little bit more, maybe it'll help. I think that's going to be another big plan. And, Vikings offense just has to keep going and find those right matchups too. And especially try to get to their secondary, I think is also going to be another big thing on the offensive side for the Vikings. They definitely got to attack, and they got to attack early and not give up and not slow down at all. They
hit the nail right on the head. And also, I think they're without Jair Alexander. Kevin King's still on the team, so.
Yikes.
And that Stokes guy, not very good as well. You can take advantage of this secondary, and I think they will. Adam Thielen's always been killing the Packers, and and Justin Jefferson, I think, will. Was it the first time? So the first time, it was week 1 last year, but Jefferson didn't play that much. He had like one catch or whatever. But
no, he didn't play that much.
I think the Packers are going to get a full dose of Justin Jefferson this week.
They better.
They sure as hell better. You're right. Now, let's not forget, too, so something to keep in mind. There are some key injuries to this Packers defense, by the way. No Aaron Jones, so that's one. Rashawn Gary, as well, is out for their defense, another edge guy that can wreak some havoc. Still, you got Preston Smith as a Darius Smith as well. But you can't let those guys get to Kirk because every time I feel like the Vikings have played the Packers, they've been able to get to Cousins. Now, the key for the Vikings is to keep up the good pass blocking, but also let's get the run game going. Devondre Campbell Very good linebacker for the Packers. Former Gopher, by the way, too. So we can respect him for that, but him on the Packers, no thanks. But still, their safeties, Amos has had some interceptions as well. But like you said, defense is going to be key, Voldy. Defense is going to be huge. Pete coming back, Harrison Smith coming back is going to help this defense. I don't know about Pierce. I wouldn't bet on him playing, but we got to stop the run. I hope Barr is going to be able to play too because we're going to need him, especially for the run game.
Right.
And let's not forget Cam Bynum. Okay. I don't know how they're going to be able to mix him in, but I think that they can find some way to get him because he's been making plays. We got to take advantage of that. So I'm hoping, I'm praying that we can get him into the fold as well. Xavier Rhodes still has done a great job too. So I think they'll do something with that. So it's gonna be a close game. I'm already feeling it. Easy A says all DBs, all hands on deck against Rodgers. Yes. And that's why you have Patrick Peterson waiting in the wings to help that out. Cam Dantzler's got to be on his A game. He's got to be on his A game this week, especially him. Mac Alexander, he was out of practice today, but I don't know if it's a COVID situation. Hopefully not. We hope not, because we're going to need him in the slot, because when you got the Green Bay offense coming at you, it won't be good. So it'll be interesting, but I'm glad that I'm not a Packer fan, and the reason why I say that is because they're selling all these shares, thinking that Packer fans own the team. You get this little slip saying you're a part owner of the Green Bay Packers. Apparently, it's $3 per share, 300,000 shares stock on Tuesday. Get out of here! Get out of here! I don't give a crap. I could write on a sheet of paper right now and say I'm a Vikings owner, but I'm really not. But I guess you're going to pay $300 to say, I'm a part owner of the Packers, and I have a say in this. No, you don't. You really don't. Let's be honest here. So, the border battle on Sunday, I'm going to wait. Voldy, I think we should wait until maybe Saturday, Sunday, or something like that to give our predictions, because I think that's the best way to do it, especially for Minnesota pick. Because make your picks, by the way, people. We're getting closer to the end of the season. So, anyway, can't wait for Sunday. Cannot wait for Sunday. It should be a fun one. So, all right, let's move on to the Minnesota Wild. Voldy, unfortunately, they lost last night to the San Jose Sharks, 4-1, ending their hot streak. But still, 10-5 is not bad, and especially with the way you're going to lose some games here and there. So, what are your thoughts on the Wild, Voldy, from last night?
Unfortunately, it was just one of those games where they just couldn't really put a whole effort together, unfortunately. And given the situation, too, with that hit from Dumba on one of the Sharks players, that kind of divulged into a whole situation within itself. I think that kind of took the Wild out of it, too. And not getting a whole lot of, production out of special teams has unfortunately been a real Achilles heel for the Wild here the last couple of seasons. But, they got bumped right away, right and early. They were down early and just couldn't really recover after that from that point too. And, just one of those nights where just wasn't to the Wild's favor. And it's unfortunate too, because, they keep getting all these wins. And unfortunately, a lot of them are coming out on the road with their schedule kind of a little road heavy to start off this year. But at least they're finding ways to win on the road. And, hopefully they can start getting some more home games and starting to get more home wins too, because, near the top of the Western Conference, that's definitely a nice little place to be early on and hopefully throughout the whole season too for the Wild.
Right. And, I think the main thing is they don't want to make this into a trend, and I think that's pretty obvious for most people. Like, you don't want to have to keep lose 3, 4, 5 games, and then be in a tough position and wonder, hey, why are we in this? Well, because we had that losing streak. We can't have that. Mm-hmm. So, San Jose, they kept their foot on the gas pedal, and they did a good job keeping the Wild at bay, and they did. Joel Eriksson Ek still had a nasty goal. I really liked JEE was fantastic. Case was loving it too. So shouts out to Case on that. But Foligno had a fight last night. Pretty interesting. I feel like, I don't know, every time I watch a Wild game, Foligno's fighting somebody.
Right.
Or he's chirping. Or he's he's supposed to do that, right? Because he's kind of that type of guy. So. Like we were saying, Voldy, I think it's a matter of them not turning this into a long streak. I mean, they gotta keep winning these games, especially at home. I mean, you lose at home, okay, come back on the next one. So, I think Cam Talbot's been okay. Kakkonen, he's been kind of, I think things can pick up here. The Dumba hit, I think that was very controversial, but, it is what it is. Apparently, that's what I didn't see the hit, but they said it was clean.
It was.
But
you just don't put your head down on the ice.
Yeah, don't put your head down. That's true.
You're going to get hit.
Yeah.
You're going to get hit.
You're going to get hit, yeah. So, I don't see this turning into the 4-5 game losing streak. I don't see that because, we hope not. Because especially when you got that guy Kaprizov and Fiala and Dumba's been okay. I think a lot of people kind of like, we could trade him to get somebody else. Well, we'll see about that, but they'll be okay. And I think it's a matter of learning from those losses and seeing what you do after those losses that you have. And I think Dean Evison is going to keep those guys on the right track. So, fingers crossed for the Minnesota Wild. We'll be okay. Don't worry. It's not going to be like that for the Wild. They're not going to go on a 5-game losing streak.
Kaprizov starts to need pulling his weight a little bit more. I think that's another big thing that's going to help the Wild too.
Sure.
He starts putting more pucks in the net. That's going to help change a lot of people's minds. So
fix the power play too. Hopefully, I think that's another.
My God,
thing.
yes.
Yeah, please, God, please. But anyway, we'll see what happens. I think they play again this week. I'm not sure what day, but we'll keep you posted on that and whatnot. So anyway, that'll do it for Tater Tot Hot Take this week. Voldy, it's been a while. It's been a long time. It is time to get back to the top 10 in famous list. As you're checking out right here, it's not just us that can make lists. It's you guys, the zoners, can make lists as well. Please, if you guys want to submit them to us, please, we're more than happy to do that, especially if you just want to add a guy that you think should be added to the list, dishonorable mention, yada, 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 and whatnot. Throw it in the comments. We'll let you know if we think that deserves it to be in our top 10 in famous list. And if we don't think so, make your own list. That's all I ask. So it's good, it's fun, and especially ripping guys that should be ripped. So anyway, Voldy, let's get it going with the top 10 in famous list.
Here's the list no one wants to be on. Infamous Top 10.
So I've had some people ask me, Voldy zoners, why I have Jimmy Butler still on that graphic there.
Why not?
Why not? I mean, the guy, I don't need to go over it again.
Nope.
But it's just gotten to that point where it's like, whatever. So anyway, Voldy, you made your updated list. I made my updated list as well. Zoners, please feel free to chime in a little bit too. We got some new guys on there. So, Voldy, would you like to do the honors first for your
Sure,
list?
why not?
Let's do it. So, anyway, here is our list. Boom! Here we go. Voldy, take it away.
There we go. Well, we're going to make a debut at the number 10 spot for the likes of my top 10 in famous list. Carlos Correa of the Houston Astros, just because he continues to find a way to make himself relevant and make everybody hate him simultaneously. Of the Houston Astro players
Bro,
that
I've been here the whole time.
sign stealing and cheating and all that, He's the one that's been the most vocal out of all of it, even though a lot of people keep pointing fingers at Jose Altuve. It's like Carlos Correa wants everyone to hate him. He just wants all the smoke, and he's not only going to get the smoke, he's going to get the fire, he's going to get the forest fire, all of it, because he just wants everyone to hate him all at the same time. Moving up to the number 10 to the number 9 spot is Tom Wilson, Washington Capitals forward as well. Still a little bit of one of those players that may be a little bit controversial, dirty at the same time. Couple of questionable hits over the last couple of seasons. And, yeah, not exactly the most likable player as it currently stands. But Tom Wilson at that number 9 spot on the infamous list. Up to the number 8 spot we go, YouTube TV. What am I going to get my Bally Sports North? When am I going to be able to watch the Minnesota Wild? When am I going to watch the Timberwolves? If I ever want to watch the Timberwolves, but at least I can maybe, hopefully, watch a national broadcast with TNT and, all the other ESPN as well for taking the NHL and putting it on TV. But no, you know what I got now? I got the Hallmark Channel. That's what I got to deal with. And I've got about 97 Christmas movies from the Hallmark Channel in my recordings list right now. So, Yay, joy
hooray.
To the world for that. Number 7 spot, Mr. Boozehound Gordon himself, Josh Gordon. And no, this is not a Josh Gordon Chiefs jersey I'm wearing, even though he's wearing number 19 with the Chiefs. It is the Mac Attack, Jeremy Maclin, the original number. Well, I shouldn't say the original number 19 for the Chiefs. That's Joe Montana. That still gets a lot of respect down in KC. But no, this is Jeremy Maclin Chiefs jersey. Definitely ain't going to be putting Boozehound Gordon on the back of this, but. Look, you get to a point when your life is so low, you got to pawn off your Super Bowl ring just to say that you did. You're going in the wrong direction for Josh Gordon as well. But you know what? Maybe he'll find something with the Chiefs, and maybe he'll make it happen. I don't know. Thought we were going to do that with Seattle. Thought we were going to do that with New England. Thought we were going to do that with the return back to the Browns too. But apparently that's not going to work out for Josh Gordon. Number 6, someone who's been relatively quiet but is going to be a mainstay on the list. Phil, no longer the Thrill Kessel as well. He's been maybe rumored around a little bit to be shopped around out of the desert. And last time that the Wild took on those Arizona Coyotes, well, he was not much of a factor at all. What else is new with Phil Kessel? But you know what? Glad to see you're still around there, Phil, and still hanging out there at the number 6 spot. Up to the number 5 spot looks the Minnesota Timberwolves. You start off 2-0. You're competing early on. Now you've lost, 5, 6, 1,900 straight games this season? Good. Yeah, it's not looking good. Look, they have the effort, but when you're giving up 40-point quarters in a span of, 3 straight games, things are not looking good. Let's just hope that A-Rod and Mark Lowry don't start shipping the team out to Seattle or wherever, Vegas or something like that, if they're going to put and move a franchise anywhere. Up to number 4 spot, Mr. John Manziel, that is. Look, he's out there. He's doing his thing. Man, if he just would have stayed in school just 2 more years, and man, he would have been all the records broken. But no, he decided to go to the NFL, and, well, we all know how that turned out. Played in the XFL. Boy, I shouldn't say the XFL. Boy, if he played in the XFL, that would have been something.
Yeah.
Playing the CFL, I should say. Then he ended up with the Spring League or something like that, and that fan-controlled league or whatever the heck it's called, fan-controlled football, but for, just for a hot second or whatever. But you know what? He's doing his thing right now. I don't know what it is, but he's doing stuff. Every time I see him, he's out golfing on the old Instagram, and he's doing non-football things. Well, up to the number 3 spot, no surprise here, the Big Ten Conference. Big Ten Conference.
Oh, boy.
The mid-major conference with $1 billion budget. Still finding ways to disappoint in every way, shape, and form. Because, look, if it isn't Ohio State, it isn't anything, apparently, at all. Sure, Michigan State. Sure, Penn State. Yeah, and then they get lost, and, they're not doing so hot after that. But Big Ten Conference, the conference that did end up ruining college hockey as well. We won't talk about that. But for those that know, they know what I'm talking about.
You know.
Penn State hockey for that as well. Number 2 spot, well, good old John Bones Jones. He's been relatively quiet here since last time we've done our top 10 and famous list, which is probably a good move here for Mr. John Bones Jones. I don't know if we'll ever see him back in the octagon, but we'll have to wait and see. Never say never, I guess.
Never
and
say
well,
never.
number 1 spot, even though he's been quiet for the last few weeks too, recovering from an injury in famous James. Look, it's going to take a momentous move. Somebody's got to really screw up for Infamous James to get knocked off the top 10 famous list, because I mean, it's in the name within itself. It is the infamous list for a reason. Infamous James, in my mind, it's always going to be number 1.
Voldy, I couldn't agree with you more. Especially, I mean, this segment was made because of him. Because of him. So he can't run from it. And if there was ever a chance to have him on the show, I'd have him on the show. I'd give him to say his piece. I'd say, listen, Infamous James, or I'll call him James because I don't want to piss him off or anything.
Sir.
But why did you take the crab legs? That's all I have to ask. That's all I want to ask to Infamous James is, why'd you take the crab legs? Explain it, yada, yada, yada. We'll see what happens. But anyway, without further ado, great job with the list. I really like the list, Voldy. A lot of moving parts with a lot of these guys. And mine has moved a lot, for one, I will say. And there's some that I want to explain here a little bit, too. But starting off, and if you notice from this one, Voldy, number 10 is A-Rod. He has fallen in the list. He was up there pretty high.
He has.
Okay, he was up there pretty high. He has fallen in the list. The reason why he has fallen in the list is because he's getting along with a lot of the T-Wolves now. He's getting to know the city. He's getting to know the people, but there's still an inkling that something could happen. And what I mean by that, there could be A-Rod cheating. There could be this. There could be that. Moving the team, yada, yada, or things like that. I get bigger market, but we'll see. He's at number 10. I mean, he can jump off this list. And another person who is not on this list, Jimmy Butler, Jimmy Buckets. And I talked about it at the beginning here. I said, especially with our video graphic as well. I mean, it just shows pretty much why he needs to be on this list and whatnot. But he's dishonorable mention for now. Things could change. Again, you can get back on this list. It's very possible. It's very possible. Oh, yeah. So just remember that. Number 9, Josh Gordon. He's fallen as well on this list. The reason why he has fallen too is because he really hasn't done anything that's been out of the ordinary. He's been with the Chiefs, been fairly quiet. Again, that could change. Yep. It's pretty simple. That could change. Josh Boozehound Gordon, he's had a lot of mistakes. I still think he shouldn't be in the NFL, but we've talked about it numerous times, Voldy, Zoners. So we'll keep it as is. All right, number 8, Greg Williams, Sean Payton. These two are combined. I've talked about it numerous times too. These two are combined because they both had a hand in more Greg Williams, but Sean Payton's the head coach. He should have known. Bountygate, all that stuff. And Sean Payton, hey, they were starting off pretty hot with the Aints this season, but now they're 5-4. They've lost a couple here. So, and Infamous Jameis, he's hurt. Trevor Siemian, your quarterback, I don't know about that. Taysom Hill he does everything, but he's not a full-fledged starter. All right, A-Rod is in my top 5 because of cheating on the field and in his personal life as well. Hence why he's still on this list. It's the past that is brought up as well. And cheating on J-Lo, I mean, come on, man. I know, and again, I the whole Shakira J-Lo thing, J-Lo looks fantastic. I'm just saying. 50 years old, she looks fantastic. Okay, anyway, without further ado, let's move on to our next one. Greg Williams, Sean Payton. Yeah. Johnny Manziel. He has fallen a little bit too. Now, why has Johnny Manziel fallen, Voldy Zoners? I really haven't noticed much either. I think he does a podcast or something. I don't know. He's out there clubbing with people. He's out there golfing. He's drinking. I mean, he is enjoying his life and whatnot, and we're happy for him, okay? But just don't do anything more stupid, Johnny. Johnny, just don't. Johnny Bench. We still have the jersey, the Browns jersey, waiting in my closet here. It'll make an appearance again. It'll make an appearance. So Johnny's still on the list. I think he'll stay there. It'll take a drastic change too. Not as much as Infamous Jameis, but close. Number 6, Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson, this is the first time him on this. He should have been on earlier, don't get me wrong. First of all, you decide not to play for the Texans. The Texans are a mess. Tyrod Taylor's the quarterback. They have really no one else around him. Mark Ingram was on the Texans for a little bit. Then he gets traded to New Orleans and whatnot. But it's... they're a mess, but at the same time, he's got to figure out his legal issues here. And not only that, but he's completely said, screw this team. Screw you guys. You have no say. You have no say. Listen, you had 22, 23, 24. How all these allegations and everything, every woman saying that you were just a complete creep in this massage deal, okay? And you got to figure that out first instead of moping around in Houston hoping you get traded. Figure out your legal stuff first, buddy, okay? And the thing is, I like Deshaun Watson. Now, my opinion's completely changed. That's why he's on the list now.
Yep.
Number 5. Voldy, you weren't here when I said we're not doing the Gruden stuff anymore.
Nope, can't do it.
We can't do it anymore. And the reason
legally
why
we can't.
Yeah, he's on this list now because of what he has said in emails and things like that. Now, we can't do the impressions anymore. We can't do any of that. But it's he sued the NFL now, Goodell and everything about the emails. He's got a lot of explaining to do. And the thing is he needs to come out and have I don't know, just post a video saying like, I'm deeply sorry, this is. You got to make amends here, okay? And why are you saying this stuff in emails? You can't. And people are saying this is the true John. Keyshawn Johnson said it too. This is how he was and how he still is apparently. So that's why he's on the list.
Yep.
I have no choice. All right, number 4. Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers. Why is Aaron Rodgers on this list?
Why not?
Voldy, I don't think there's been a week in the NFL this season where I've been sitting down and thinking, I don't think I'll hear about Aaron Rodgers. I won't hear about Aaron Rodgers. But he continues to make news. Now, why does he continue to make news? Well, first of all, he lies about being vaccinated. He complains about his team. He goes on the Pat McAfee show. And, again, we like Pat McAfee. He's a good guy.
Good dude.
But just the stuff that he's been saying and just everything that has been pinpointed to him, lying about the vaccination, trying to, in the interview, trying to, quote Martin Luther King, comparing COVID and if you don't like it, then you should stand up. Look. Aaron Rodgers, shut up. Shut up. All you've done this whole time, ever since the offseason, you've been doing nothing but this. Okay? Now, your team's 8-2. You're still winning. Don't get me wrong. Okay? You're one of the best teams in the NFC. But good Lord, you just keep yapping. Shut up. Shut the hell up, Aaron Rodgers. No one gives a damn what you have to say besides your following of Packers fans. And then not only that, you have your fiance saying, this is the Photoshop, and then you're ripping all these, your fiance is ripping all these people, okay? Here's the thing. The best way to avoid all these situations that you say you're the victim of, you don't say a damn word. You keep quiet. Okay? There's a lot of people that follow you. All you have to do is just keep playing football. Say the right things. No. you continue to make it a living hell for yourself. Being ripped by reporters, being ripped by on-air personalities, myself, okay? Now, well, Matty C, he's a Packer. That's why you're supposed to hate him. No, I mean, he's acting like a jackass. He's acting like a douchebag. Let's be honest. He is. So that's why he's on this list, man. He's just Aaron Rodgers, I tell you. Number 3, Chad Wheeler. Now, this one, I really read into this because I knew about the domestic violence and everything like that. But I listened to the woman that was domestic or abused by him. Oh my God, it was horrific, absolutely horrific. Back in February, and he just had an episode where he just snapped, just absolutely snapped, and she thinks that he deserves jail time, and I think that is definitely something that is warranted, and especially the way that she blacked out twice after being, assaulted and everything like that. I mean, it was a bad deal. Absolutely terrible. And the Seahawks did the right thing in getting rid of him like that.
Yeah.
Bye. See ya. So he's on this list, and, we don't have time for it. Or we don't. It's terrible. It's terrible. And I don't know if I think he's in jail or something like that. But it was a bad deal. So he's still at number 3. Number 2, Donald Sterling. We know the whole deal with him. Do we even know what he's doing now? I feel like I have him on this list, but maybe that's a good where are they now? So
being old, white, and rich, that's about it.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it. Okay, we like to put a PG thing. We'll go with 13 here. Amen to that, asshole. Says Stuffage.
Stuffage, you're a father now. You can't use that kind of language.
Come on, man. What are you doing here? But no, just kidding. But number 1, we know it. You know it. Zoners know it. Infamous Jameis. It would be a travesty if we didn't have Infamous Jameis at number 1. We made this segment for Infamous Jameis. Okay? Oh, here's a perfect response from Stuffage, though, before I get into this. She is asleep, LOL.
Fair enough.
I give
Case just got out of the bath, so yeah, we can use that language. It's fine.
It's fine. PG sprinkle of 13. Not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
So, Infamous Jameis, number 1. We'll show you one more time here of our list. A lot of changes. Now, people can flip-flop however they want with these as well, or you can just make your own list, and that's totally fine, too, and we'll post it, because I think there's a lot of people that we're forgetting, too, so, and people deserving that should be on this list. But that's our Infamous list. Infamous Jameis, number 1, as always. It's going to take something really bad, Like, Clowntonio was heading up towards that realm, Voldy, but it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot. So
it is.
Anyway, one last time here for all the zoners that I want to see. Please send us in what you guys think and who you would like to add, and we'll get that for you. So that's awesome. All right, awesome list, Voldy, and we will, we'll keep track of that. So anyway, Voldy, we got some ARAs. We got some good ARAs. Some NFL, some MLB, some NBA, and then some college football. The rankings have come out again. There's some controversy. With the rankings this week. So let's get it going with some approved.
It's time for everyone's favorite segment, Absurd or Approved.
All right, Shield. So it is time for Absurd or Approved. I'm looking forward to this one because there's a lot of them that I have some opinions on. So, and I'm sure the zoners will too. So, anyway, Voldy, why don't you rattle them off for us, please?
Well, we start off in the NFL here this week, and lo and behold, last week we were talking about who was going to win the Odell Beckham Jr. sweepstakes, and we were completely unequivocally, undoubtedly wrong and where OBJ was going to end up. He ends up in Hollywood. He ends up with the Los Angeles Rams. And, well, he thought we were going to see him be a factor in the Monday night game against San Fran. No, not really so much. But he did play. Got a few catches here and there as Odell Beckham Jr. did, get his start with the Los Angeles Rams as he did sign that 1-year deal. $4.5 million for OBJ, and opens up a whole lot new opportunities because the Rams are hurting a little bit. They lost one of their top receivers and Robert Woods to an injury, quite possibly a torn ligament in his knee, which is going to not only sideline him for the rest of the year, but unfortunately, maybe even going into next year as well, which opens the opportunity for the Rams to even make a move there with OBJ. But looking at the situation overall, obviously it was a small sampling of what OBJ could be for a Rams offense, Rams team that is just scuffling right now, to say the least. Looking at the situation as a whole with the Rams being going out and signing OBJ, and, given their track record as of late, absurd or approved, the Rams will be the number 1 seed with OBJ in their wide receiving core, even without Robert Woods in the mix.
That's a good question. And I know there are a lot of people that had some opinions on whether Odell should have, or whether Odell and Woods and Kupp would make an impact. And, obviously, with the trade happening just right away, OBJ only had a couple days to get accustomed to the offense. Now, they go to San Fran, they get their butts kicked. And, some people are almost thinking, was there something wrong with OBJ? Like, did OBJ just not like the way that things were in Cleveland, yada, yada, yada,
right,
and whatnot? Or was it just OBJ? I don't know. Looking at how the Rams handled it, they got him going somewhat early, but it never really amounted to anything after that. But to answer your question here, I think it's absurd. And I think the reason why I think it's absurd, Voldy, and I think you're going to like this, Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to get the number 1 seed. Now, the reason why I say that, and I say that for my brother-in-law, Nick, as well, but the reason why I say that is because I feel like when Tom Brady gets pissed, good things start to happen for the team and whatnot. And, you still got playoff Lenny. He's been playing fantastic. You're going to get some guys back. Gronk, I think, hopefully he can get fully healthy here for Tampa. But especially losing to the Washington football team, you got to get things figured out. You brought everybody back. You brought Godwin back. You brought Clowntonio back. You brought Shaq Barrett back. They got to get back to what they were. They have to, because if they don't, they're going to be on the outside looking in. But I look at Tampa as the number 1. And losing Robert Woods, I think, is a huge blow. Now, OBJ really has to step up his game here, because people are starting to think injury-prone, not as focused, things like that. Justin Jefferson tends to think he's going to be back. Maybe. I don't know. I hope he is. I think he's a good talent, but I need to see that. I need to see that breakout game from OBJ. So, I think it's absurd. I don't think they're going to get the number 1 seed. Losing Robert Woods, I think, is a blow, but if they're going to get that number 1 seed, OBJ's got to step his game up. Big time.
Right.
Big time. So, Voldy, what do you think?
I don't think the number 1 seed is out of the possibility for the Rams, but Matthew Stafford's got to stop throwing 3 interceptions a game and then, giving up a pick 6 in the last 3 games or something like that. He's just given the game away early in those contests, and that's forced the Rams to play from behind. When it comes to OBJ and that receiving core, look, it was 1 game. He was there like 3 or 4 days, couple of practices. All right, now go play a game. I don't blame anything on OBJ for that. Obviously, they wanted to get him in, get him acclimated with the offense and everything. I would be interesting to see what happens, not only this week, but 2-3 weeks down the road, how much more involved he gets and how much further understanding the playbook and obviously everything, his role in the offense, and going out and see how much of a difference he's going to make as well. I don't see the number 1 seed out of the possibility for them to grab, but I think it's absurd as well. I don't think they get the number 1 seed.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I think OBJ, I just think he needs to step up his game, and also I think, the Rams, I mean, people are saying, oh, they're the best team, they're the team to beat and everything, but they've been kind of falling off the map here. I wonder if teams are starting to figure things out. I don't know. But like you said, Stafford too. I mean, Stafford's kind of getting into Detroit-esque football. So you got to fix it. You got to fix it or else you're going to be not where you want to be. That's for sure. All right, next one, Voldy.
Well, it didn't take long for Cam Newton to get himself reacclimated in the end zone with the Carolina Panthers. 2 plays, 2 touchdowns, 1 running, 1 throwing as well, and an upset win for the Panthers, going 34-10 over the Arizona Cardinals this past Sunday. And that is going to impress a lot of people, not only for his teammates, but not only for the coaching staff, but also the front office that may be looking to make some moves here once again into the offseason, maybe a little bit of an audition of sorts as well. But, you look at the fact that injured is Sam Darnold. Not going to see a whole lot from the likes of P.J. Walker, quite possibly. He lit up the XFL, but let's see what he can do in the NFL. Nothing really to report thus far, but looking at this opportunity now for Cam Newton to come back, and not only on the field as well, off the field, he was right in the middle of it, being a leader, a little leadership role, and, not wasting this opportunity back where this team that started his career, even in this first NFL game, it was in Arizona, and first game back with the Panthers. Yeah. Well, he makes an impact in that regard with a couple of touchdowns. Would it be absurd or approved? Cam Newton will be re-signed with Carolina after this season.
Oof. We're taking it after 1 game, right? Mm-hmm. And again, Cam played well, especially for a guy that really didn't do anything after he got cut from the Patriots, and all of a sudden there's an opportunity coming back to Carolina. And again, I think I've probably seen this at least over 100 times on each sports network. Oh, and social media and everything. I'm back! I mean, oh my gosh, people are like freaking out about it. It's kind of crazy. But he played well the first 2 plays. He's throwing a touch. He's running for a touch. He's throwing for a touchdown. You should be excited. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. You beat one of the best teams in the league now in Arizona. Now, granted, no D-Hop, no Kyler Murray too. So, but still, it's a big win. I think they're 5-5 now or something like that. Carolina is. So they're starting to get back to where they need to be. Apparently, Cam was showing some leadership in the huddles and whatnot, whereas Sam Darnold's more kind of reserved, and I think his receiver, Robbie Anderson, definitely had his thoughts on Darnold as well. So it's good for Cam. I think it's good for Cam, but I got to say absurd for now, just because I need to see more from Cam Newton. Now, he's proven himself. Yes, he's done it before, but let's watch a couple more games. Let's see if they can get a couple more wins here to make a decision to say, listen, they'll be back. So I'm going to say absurd for now. But I think if Cam proves himself here these next couple games, hey, then it will be switched back to approve. So, Voldy, what do you think?
I think another thing that's going to help out Cam Newton wherever it may be, maybe it's back in Carolina, it's the fact that he made up with ownership as well, because, there was a not so smooth sailing on the way out of town for Cam Newton and his way out of Carolina, and with the ownership group that they've got there. Yeah, it wasn't the best situation for them at the time, but now getting a chance to sit down, clear the air a little bit before signing this deal and before getting up to this first game back with the Panthers for Cam, they made amends. They certainly spoke their differences and, let their feelings be known, and well, it's all good and it's all water under the bridge. Let's see how the offense shapes up with Matt Rule too, and obviously with Cam taking the snaps, and it's looking like he's going to be the starter this week. I think they play Washington, I think, for the Panthers as well. So that'll be very interesting to see with Cam Newton taking all this first team reps this week and in line to be the starter this week too. Be quite the game coming up if it ends up being that way. Is it absurd or approved? I think at this point, I think it's approved. I'm going to go out on a ledge here and look at it because, if things maybe not go so well for Cam, I think, I want to say that they're going to take a shot at it, and knowing that they've got some guys behind him too, that could quite possibly be the way to go. I wouldn't be fully surprised if Carolina decides to bring back Cam Newton after this season. So my mind, I think it's approved right now.
Okay. Hey, like I said, I think we just got to see more. But if you've seen enough from him, yeah, let's see. I think he's added the juice. I think he's definitely added the juice to this team that they definitely needed. But yeah, we'll see how it goes in Carolina. All right, next one, Voldy.
Well, somebody that doesn't want any favors, apparently, and somebody that was featured this week and this go around with our top 10 and famous list, Carlos Correa, a free agent nonetheless as well, coming off another season with the Houston Astros, playing in the World Series once again. Well, it doesn't look like Carlos Correa is going to be a New York Yankee anytime soon as well. Seemingly going on a podcast, whether, talking about looking into the possibility of maybe meeting with the New York Yankees and talking with GM Brian Cashman. Doesn't seem that he's making himself any friends or doing himself any favors by maybe getting an opportunity in the Big Apple. And at one point during the conversation, too, got to the likes of talking about Derek Jeter and, his prowess on the field as well. A couple of short stops in Correa and also Jeter. And at one point mentioning the fact that, the quote unquote, as the story that we're looking at here, Derek Jeter didn't deserve any of the gold gloves that he won.
Wow.
That's certainly going out on a little bit of a ledge as well.
Yeah.
And again, we're throwing out the fact that Correa seems to be the most outspoken one out of the group, to just throwing it out there and saying that, I don't want people to like me anymore. And the fact is that not a lot of people are making any of the moves right now to sign Carlos Correa, even in his free agent year, to see that the possibility of adding that power-hitting Gold Glove defense that he also plays and also has a strong bat to go along with it. Not the greatest move to win a lot of favors, especially from now an executive Derek Jeter down in Miami. Well, he probably won't be getting signed by the Yankees or by the Marlins anytime soon. Absurd or approved for Carlos Correa, seemingly trying to make himself public enemy number one in the baseball world, as well as just overall in the sports world, with some of these comments that he's talking about, whether it be the Yankees and or Derek Jeter.
Oofta. I mean, this guy really likes to play the villain, apparently.
Apparently.
It's, I don't believe it, because Derek Jeter is probably one of the best. Again, and I'm not a Yankees person. Don't get me wrong. I don't like the Yankees, okay? Derek Jeter, good player, everything. I have some respect for him and whatnot, but still, I mean, him saying that he wasn't, I mean, shoot, a lot of his plays were pretty impressive, especially out in the field. I mean, he played shortstop for, God, I don't know how long. I mean, you can't sit here and say that he didn't deserve it, because he worked his tail off, folks. Okay, he's a good player. Okay, and you can't just say something like that and not get the repercussions here, and say something that you're going to regret. And I think he might regret this, because now people are coming out and, bashing him and whatnot. But people aren't surprised by it, because he's kind of an a-hole and everything like that. But let's not forget that he's part of the whole Astros cheating scandal and everything like that, I believe. And it's one thing to say, I don't think he deserved any of it. you might want to backtrack on that because now Yankee fans are coming after you. A lot of Derek Jeter fans are coming after you. Look, I know you're playing the role of the villain here, but I think he's just liking the attention right now. But those comments weren't smart, my friend. They were not smart. So I look at it this way, especially that he's just trying to get people going. He's trying to, get attention and whatnot. But I think it's absurd. I just don't think you go taking swings at a guy like Derek Jeter, especially for his fame and whatnot. But be careful what you say. It might come back to bite you. So, yeah, I think it's absurd.
Exactly.
Voldy, what do you think?
Yeah, I just think that if there was going to be any team that was going to be looking to sign, it would have probably been the Yankees, especially with, trying to bring in something to help out, defensively for sure. And, well, I thought the Yankees would have gone after a guy like Carlos Correa, especially with as much damage he's done against the Yankees in his career. Might as well put him in pinstripes. And, well, this is not exactly the way that you go ahead and win yourself any favors. And then you go out and bash one of the greatest players to ever play baseball, too. Look, I hate Derek Jeter just because of the fact he was a Yankee. Yeah. I respect the hell out of his game as well. If he wasn't a Yankee, he'd probably be one of my favorite players of all time. And that's saying something, too, in that regard. Look, man, Carlos Correa, what a piece of work. Just a complete piece of work to put himself out there and just continue to paint himself as the bad guy. Look, you know what? Maybe he is a nice guy. I don't know. I don't know him personally. I don't know him outside of what I see on my TV screen. But so far, I'm not liking what I'm seeing. So, I mean, his comments are completely absurd.
Hence why he is on the infamous list on your list here, Foldy. So, I think, we've been saying, this guy's just, I think he's just trying to get attention. And he's definitely got people's attention with that comment. So, I guess props out to you for being infamous. I don't know. So, anyway, next one, Voldy.
Well, the latest rankings for the college football playoffs were released, the third edition with only 2 weeks left in the regular season, and a couple of changes, couple of moves here and there, but the top 7 teams did break out like this at the number 1 spot. No surprise with Georgia being at 10-0. Number 2, 9-1 Alabama, while the number 3 team being number 3 and 9-1 Oregon. Number 4 is 9-1 Ohio State. At 5 is Cincinnati. They are 10-0, while Michigan is at 9-1, and Michigan State being 9-1 on the season too. Yeah. Now, this is a very interesting situation because a lot of people looking at the fact that Alabama 9-1 on the season could potentially still find a way to stay in the top 4 and be playing in the college football playoff and quite possibly try to sneak into a national championship game too. This also brings up a lot of interesting points of view when you throw in the likes of Cincinnati being at 10-0 but only ranked number 5 against 3 other teams that are one-loss teams but coming from much stronger conferences, unfortunately. Would it be absurd or approved? Does a 2-loss Alabama team deserve to be in the college football playoff over a 1-loss or even undefeated team that is in those rankings that would miss out of the top 4?
Yeah. I didn't realize, man, Michigan. I know Michigan State beat Michigan, but like that's kind of interesting that they have Michigan State behind Michigan for one, just on the off chance here. But Ohio State could drop off now if they lose to Michigan, and I think that game's coming up soon. But Alabama, it's tough. I mean, I think you have to at this point, just because they're in the SEC. They play all these top-tier schools. Cincinnati looks like they're on the outside looking in. I mean, they're undefeated. I think you have to factor that in. But like we say, too, I think it depends on how things shake out at the end of the season, too, okay?
Yep.
Now, I wouldn't be surprised. And again, I think Alabama and Georgia are coming to a head in the SEC championship game. Now Georgia's been amazing, fantastic. Defensively, they're solid, man. But Alabama's still Alabama. They're still going to be up there. But Cincinnati, I almost think you want to kind of give a shot. I mean, Ohio State's good, but they've almost been on upset alert a couple times, especially at the beginning of the season. Gophers should have won, but that's neither here nor there. But I guess just to answer your question, I think the Zoners, depending on how the Zoners feel about it, I know a lot of people bash on Alabama. If it comes down to it, if it honestly comes down to it with Alabama being a 2-loss team, getting it over Cincinnati, Michigan State, then I would say it would be a little bit absurd because these teams, they might be taking on lesser. Michigan. I mean, the Big Ten is still a very good conference. SEC is. I just feel SEC is just a lot better in some of the aspects, but I would say it'd be absurd just because there are some teams, especially Cincinnati being undefeated. Michigan State has been great, and surprisingly, Michigan. Wow, how about Michigan now? But losing
sneaky 9-1 team,
sneaky 9-1 team. So I'd say it's absurd. I'm gonna go with that, but I think they're gonna be in the playoff. So we'll see. Voldy, what do you think?
It's completely absurd. I don't think Alabama deserves anything at this point. They've already done everything, and they just keep winning, regardless of the fact of who's in at what position at what time. Well, you got 2 losses. I mean, that's not, I don't want to say, for lack of a better term, fair, but look, if you got 2 losses and you're even anywhere near the top 10, that's something on the selection committee for that as well. You're telling me that a 2-loss team in, Alabama is better than an 11-0 or 12-0 Cincinnati team? Yes, I know it's completely different conferences and different situations. Look, at the end of the day, if a team's 10-0 and they play, they play cupcakes basically for their entire schedule. Look, they're not the ones, obviously they're the ones making the schedule, but the wins are the wins regardless. I don't care at the end of the day. You're telling me an undefeated team just because of the fact that they play in a smaller conference where some games are a little bit more winnable than others is completely moot compared to, a 2-loss team in a really good conference? This is where it's all a matter of opinion, I think, and also looking at what's going to make us more money and everything as opposed to actually getting it right, which is just, like when UCF went undefeated and declared themselves the national champion one year, and hashtag we want Bama, and that whole craze just kept going as well. Look, they're national champions in my right. It's not my fault, and it's not their fault that they didn't want to match up, that the selection committee didn't want to put them in the college football playoff and watch them run roughshod over Bama and all those other teams too, because that would have been one heck of some games in that mix too. But look, it's completely absurd. If Alabama's got 2 losses, they'd be lucky if they get a New Year's Day bowl, in my mind. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing that. They might get a New Year's Day bowl, just out of principle, but give them like one of the crappy ones, like the Outback Bowl or something like that. It's a New Year's Day bowl. We didn't say it was going to be one of the good ones. You're playing at 2:00 in the afternoon on New Year's Day when everybody's hungover and coming out of their third nap of the day or something like that.
Good point.
I mean, it's completely absurd. Alabama, if they've got 2 losses, should not be in the college football playoff.
Yeah, no, I mean, I do agree with you. I really do. And it's, like you said, I mean, what's going to make the better matchup? Because if they get a bad matchup, then you lose money, right? Because it's the NCAA, greedy bastards, right? So
shouldn't even matter anymore. Everybody's got 3-4 NIL deals anyway, so it's not like they're losing any money regardless. Everybody's going to get their paycheck at the end of the day.
Yeah. So, anyway, it's, I think it's absurd too. I think Cincinnati, I mean, hell, if they get a shot at it, let's see what they got. Let's see. But watch out. I mean, those Cincinnati, Michigan State. I mean, Michigan, if you're Harbaugh, you got to beat Ohio State. You have to.
Seriously.
You have to. If you don't, then you're a fraud. I'm sorry. I mean, it's that simple.
You're done.
A fraud. So we'll put it like that. All right. Next one, Voldy.
Last one here for this week. Well, the NBA is looking to take their talents, out to the desert. As it looks like reports are saying that the NBA are going to be playing their first games in the United Arab Emirates to take place next season. Of course, they will be preseason games, as the NBA and their Department of Culture and Tourism of Abu Dhabi and the group that they're working with have agreed to a multi-year partnership, which will start with 2 preseason contests to take place next year in October of 2022. And of course, the teams that will be playing, where the venue is going to be, and when it's going to be has yet to be determined as well. But I would imagine hopefully a couple of decent teams with some decent players to play in that game as in those games as well. Looking at the situation as well, I know that the likes of the NBA have been, and other sports leagues as well, been playing games overseas. I know they played some games in China. The NHL recently expanding out to the Asian countries as well. They played a few preseason games in China a couple years ago. I know that the NHL a few years ago was doing games in Sweden and Finland to start off the year as well. But, the NBA kind of being a little bit lying in the weeds when it comes to something like this. But is it absurd or approved the NBA maybe wanting to help expand the game, or are they just looking for a quick cash grab from the UAE for these preseason games next year?
I mean, you could make a legit argument for both.
Right.
But I can see, I mean, they, like you mentioned with China, it could be a cash grab, it could be that. But I think there are players within the league, and this is a players-driven league. Let's not forget, I do like Adam Silver. But you can make a good argument for both, but I'm going to lean more towards getting more people to watch more NBA. And there's some people that think, you want to keep expanding it, have some exhibition games, but honestly, a lot of those international, whenever they have those there's a lot of people there. I mean, it's crazy how many people are there. Mm-hmm. And I think they want to build that bridge with folks overseas. And I think they've been doing a good job of that. There's some players in the NBA, like Aeneas Kanter, especially Abdel Nader, just a whole slew of guys, especially from, different parts of the world too. Now, you go to Abu Dhabi, you kind of you show people what it's like, and I think a lot of players would like to kind of see it. And again, a lot of these players make enough money to travel to Abu Dhabi and whatnot. But it's got my stamp of approval just because I think they're trying to get people overseas to kind of take a look at the game and show what kind of product they have. But I think kind of starting out small with Abu Dhabi with exhibition games is the right way to go. So I'll give it my stamp of approval. Voldy, what do you think?
I think it's a nice little way to help expand the game a little bit. It's always surprising to see, especially in Middle Eastern and even some Asian countries as well, how big the game of basketball is and how much of a reach the NBA actually has too. And now it's just on their part to help execute it a little bit more to, get over to some of these countries, play some games, reach out to some of the communities. Obviously, there's going to be other events going on with the teams and NBA officials at these countries and venues and events leading up to those games as well. That's kind of an afterthought by the time the games actually happen too. I could see, again, we talk about how it can be a strong argument for both. I'd like to think it's for the good of the game, but at the end of the day, we all know that, it doesn't hurt anybody's bottom line when they're looking at maybe reaching into some deep pockets that they got over in Abu Dhabi as well. So in my mind, I think it's approved. It's a win-win situation. Expand the game, make a little hazard pay at the progress too. So
yeah, and again, if until proven otherwise, then Yeah, if they're just doing it for a cash grab, well, yeah. You know what we think of those types of people, so yeah. But they might even end up on our infamous list. Who knows? But great job with ARA this week, Voldy, as always.
Thanks, sir.
And Shield shoutouts. Now, Voldy, you got the bulk of them last week. There's a fairly good number here now, too. There's a lot of people worthy of shoutouts. So let's get it going with some Shield shoutouts.
Shield Shoutouts.
All right, Shield, who ya shouting out tonight?
Well, first off here, we got to start with a big Shield shout-out to a friend of the program as well, one of the best interviews we've had so far this year. Alex Koopmeiners, as it looks like he's going to be taking his talents as well, not only on the ice, but also off the ice as well, as he accepted a job recently with the New York Rangers to be a writer for the team as well. And if you follow him and are friends with him on social media, you've seen some of his articles as of late, and some good quality content, so got to give a Shield shout-out to our guy Coop on the new job, and also staying active in the world of hockey, sticking with hockey as well. Got to give a Shield shout-out to former Golden Gopher Rem Pitlick, as he not only scored his first NHL goal, he scored his second, and also his third goal, a natural hat trick, for his first 3 goals in his career with the Minnesota Wild, netting a hat trick over the weekend with the Wild's very first victory against the Seattle Kraken. First time in franchise history that the Wild have beat the Kraken, as it was a nice little road victory as well. And something earlier announced here today, actually, believe it or not, Granite City Lumberjacks made a decision, and a good one here, celebrating a player that's been special to the organization for quite some time, and honoring the 10 years since the season took a bit of a change with Ezra McPhail, a player for the Lumberjacks that did sustain an injury at the midway point of the season and was lucky enough to stick around with the team, leading for the team's very first championship in the NA3HL league as well. Well, the Granite City Lumberjacks will be retiring Ezra's number. The number 15 will no longer be worn by any Lumberjack, and that's going to be going on 1 week from tonight down in St. Cloud, as they usually play a game the night before Thanksgiving, and that's going to be a nice special event that they'll have down there. Former players, friends, family in attendance as well. I believe Ezra's and family are going to be there as well. Unfortunately, I won't be able to make it. I got to work for Thanksgiving and all that fun stuff.
Same.
But look forward to maybe at least watch the game or something like that. But also, they're going to be selling T-shirts as well. If you follow the Lumberjacks on social media, you can find out more details about that at the game as well, with the money raised from those T-shirt sales going towards a scholarship fund that will be established to a Lumberjacks player that's looking to, move on and not only continue with their hockey career, but also in the classroom as well, and continue their educational career as well. So a big shout out to the Lumberjacks, and also for Ezra, as they'll retire the number 15 1 week from tonight. Final Shield shout out tonight. We got to give unfortunately it's been a bit of a sour week for the Boston Red Sox, as a couple weeks ago did lose longtime broadcaster Jerry Remy, and it was just learned over the weekend as well that former Red Sox shortstop Julio Lugo, who did pass away at only the age of 45 with heart complications in his native country as well, was a member of the Boston Red Sox when they won the World Series in 2007. Did play for a handful of teams in his career. Was a fairly good defensive player in his own mind, but could swing it a little bit too as well. But unfortunately, Julio Lugo gone way too soon in his lifetime as well. Will be missed by the Red Sox and also for all the teams that he played for as well. That's going to do it for Shield shoutouts this week.
Yeah, I remember. He was fast. He was a fast guy.
He was.
Yeah, it absolutely sucks. But anyway, again, great job with Shield shoutouts, Voldy. It's you get Coop. I think Coop is doing pretty well, especially a writer for the Rangers. I mean, let's go. Let's go. That's prime time, man. But congrats to him, and as well as our other Shield shoutouts too. So, Voldy, I think we announced this at the beginning of the show. We've got hats. Check that out. Yes, Voldy's got it up right there. Like we said, $20, $5 shipping. It's adjustable. It's a trucker hat, and I do like the trucker hats. I have a couple of them, and they're fantastic. So 5 out of 5. And if you guys want to get one, we'll put you on the list, okay? We will put you on the list. The hats look fantastic.
I got to fix mine.
And Voldy's got to fit. Yeah, I mean, Voldy, all that flow, all that hair.
I know. I got too much hair. There we go.
But if you buy the hat, hey, it only helps us keep the show. Us giving you guys the show pays for the internet service and all that, so we really appreciate that. And then also we do have a good number of shirts, so if you have anyone that is willing to want to get a shirt, $20, $5 shipping as well, so make sure you check that out too, because we got some they're 5 out of 5 guys. They're really 5 out of 5. We got 2 mediums left, 3 larges, 2 XLs, extra large, and then 1 double XL. So we can hook you up with some awesome shirts. They're 5 out of 5, so we got you covered. Not only that, but hopefully we can get going, and we got stickers, man. And the thing is the stickers as well. We got plenty of them. We got the mini bumper stickers. We got the bumper stickers. We got the window decals. We got the whole kit and caboodle. And congrats to our Pick'em winners, as well as our creative consultant, because she's fantastic as well. Sarah Ann Volt and Larry and Nick as well. So they will be getting stickers coming their way. And if you don't want, if you're just like, I'll pay for one, I'll help out the guys. $2 for small ones.
Might as well.
$3 for the big ones. It's pretty sweet. So anyway, we thank National Fleet Graphic. We thank Crown Rental, Tyler Knutson for the stickers as well. Guys, check out W2 Performance. Will Rattel's working on the Haas project. Make sure you check out what he's got. He's got new content, new videos out. Make sure you check out W2 Performance. Our guy, Will Rattel. You can check it out at www.w2performance.com. Very simple. Check it out. It's awesome. All right. And then also check out Jack's Junkyard. Now with Apparel, make sure you check out our guy, Jack O'Keefe. And then breaking into the league, I believe they have a new episode out. We're trying to work out something going on with Sam Gabrielli, Ryan Martin. We can get it set up, hopefully, at some point. But
got to do it.
It's going to happen. It depends on when we have the availability and whatnot. And we're working on another couple guests. They're well known. I'll just put it like that.
Oh, yeah.
They're well known on this show. But we won't spoil anything, even though I probably may have spoiled it. But I don't know. Who knows? It depends on if you've been watching the show a long time. So, but anyway, Voldy, another no interruptions this week. We were loving it. I was knocking on wood, and it's you wonder if they got it fixed. You wonder, but I'll check on it. Hopefully, they fix something, because the stream was fantastic tonight. So, absolutely awesome. But anyway, Zoners, we appreciate you tuning in. Hopefully the Vikings come out with the victory here on Sunday, so we have something good to talk about against those stupid Packers, stupid Aaron Rodgers, just everything stupid. Okay? That's stupid. But anyway, remember, as always, folks, keep in the zone.
Holla.
Thank you for watching MinneZona Sports Live. Join us Wednesdays at 7 p.m. for live show broadcast. And as Voldy likes to say, follow us on all the socials medias.